and today I'll be talking about web analytics, keeping track and boosting conversion of website traffic. And a quick disclaimer that nothing in this presentation or course should be taken as legal or financial advice. Any product or service that we mentioned is not a sponsor unless otherwise explicitly mentioned. Okay, so what we'll be learning today, we'll be going over what exactly is web analytics, defining that, looking at common terminology within web analytics, then looking at the marketing analytics process. So from start to finish, what does that process look like when setting up web analytics for your site? Then we'll go over some basic ways that you would analyze web reports, some common analytic tools, then a quick demo with Google Analytics. So, web analytics, what is it? It's the process of collecting, analyzing, reporting on website data to understand user behavior and optimize performance. So usually when we hear the term web analytics, we think of data or reports, Google Analytics, because it's the most commonly used tool. But really, those things are just a means to an end. So the purpose of web analytics is to, like mentioned in the definition, understand user behavior, optimize performance. It helps you identify any problems in your website or where you can improve, and collecting data and user activity on your site is just the way that web analytics or web analysis tries to do that for you. And why use it? So you better understand your visitors, you increase conversion rates and or sales, you can improve your SEO, enhance user experience, and improve marketing campaign. So how does it work? Before web analytics, the tools used to be done with server logs, and how it would work is that, say I wanted to visit a site, so youtube.com. If I'm on my computer, I type in youtube.com, I go to that site. What my computer does is it will send a request to the server that's hosting the YouTube website. And it'll see, okay, this person's asking to visit the YouTube site. Here's the code for that page. And it will send that back to my computer, but along with it, it'll send a log file. And that log file will track the activity that the user does once they visit the site. The problem with server logs is that it didn't give exactly an accurate count of the visitors that you had, because say, for example, I opened the web page and before it could even load, it was still a white screen. I closed it. That would still count as a visit. So to counter that, there's now page tagging, which has become the industry standard. And actually, all the tools that we mentioned in this presentation does use page tagging. And what it does instead is it loads with the page rather than before, and then it tracks the user action. So it gives you a more accurate count of the number of visitors. And how it looks like is what you see on the right here. It's a piece of JavaScript code within an HTML tag. So this example here is what page tagging would look like for Google Analytics. This tag is automatically generated once you input all your values, like your URL and all of that. So whatever tool you'll be using, it will automatically generate this tag. And what you do is pretty simple. You copy this code and you go to the HTML of your site and paste it within the header tag. So the header tag is usually at the top. If you are using a CMS, so something like WordPress or maybe a no-code site like bubble.io, you would most likely be using a plugin for that and connecting it that way. So you wouldn't be using this code at all. You would just take like maybe a tracking ID, install this plugin and just paste the ID into the plugin. With something like CMSs, it's probably easier to do it that way anyways. So moving on to common terminology. So bounce rate, you'll hear this a lot. It's the percentage of visitors who land on one of your web pages, then leave your website without visiting another page. Then there's exit rate, which is percentage of visitors who exited on a certain web page. I think people do tend to get exit rate and bounce rate confused. So bounce rate would be counted, anything that can be defined as bounce rate is also exit rate, but what would be counted as the exit rate doesn't always count as the bounce rate. So, well, for bounce rate, how it works is that it defines it as when a user visits your website, that first web page that they land on is the last and only page that they see. So they'll just visit one page, they might scroll around, click on a few things, but they never click away on another page within your site. They'll look at it, maybe interact it for a bit and then exit. But exit rate only looks at that last page that a user exited on. So it doesn't really matter where they came from. It just looks at how many people exited on that page. Visitor and user is a person taking actions and browsing the site. Time, pretty straightforward, how long the user was on the site. KPIs stands for key performance indicators. So it's quantifiable measure of success in meeting an objective. So it's a more concrete way in measuring your progress, just taking your progress and putting it into numbers pretty much. An event is the actions that the users take on your website. So it's just actions, any actions that you would track. So example, clicks or downloading a file, playing a video, submitting a form, those are all different events. A page view is when a user loads or reloads a page. Click path is the chronological sequence of page views within a visit or session. And a visit/session are the units that all activities and data are grouped under. So if I visit YouTube, then say I scroll down the homepage, I look at a few videos, then I find one I like, I click on it and I watch the video. But then I forgot to log in. So I log into my account and then I remembered a video that I wanted to see maybe. So I search for something within the search bar. And so all of those activities, so me clicking on a video, logging in, searching for a video, and then all the data under my profile too. So my gender, my age, what country I'm from, would all be grouped into one visit or session. So if a user revisits the site after an allotted amount of time, then a new visit will start. Otherwise, is grouped with the previous visit. So with Google Analytics, the marked time would be 30 minutes. So if a user exits your website and then revisits it within the 30 minutes since they left, then it would still, all those actions, all that data would still go to that previous visit. It would be grouped with that last visit. But if they visited 30 minutes after that 30-minute mark, then Google Analytics would start a new session that will be counted as another visit. So the marketing analytics process. So like I mentioned earlier, this is a process that you follow in setting up the web analytics for a site from start to finish. It's a 4-part process. So it breaks down into strategy, data and tools, insights, and optimization. I found that a maybe easier way of naming it is define, collect, analyze, and act.